Okay, and we're back on First and Now. A bit of a bonus session for those listeners on the podcast. Every week we do it, and it's a great week to talk Lions with our guy Cam Tucker from BCLC and PlayNow Sports. PlayNow, by the way, proud partner of the Backyard Party. Cam will be out there drinking gin and juice on Saturday. Us chumps know we're working, but Cam, it's good to be here with you.
Yeah, guys, I'm looking forward to it. What a great day. Like the weather's getting great. It feels like summer now, and it's time. It's time to kick off this CFL season. It's time to kick off the Lions season. I think the excitement's been building for this week. You got Snoop coming to town. He's going to do his show, and then they're going to get down to business here. The Lions are and the Elks are going to get down to business. I think it should be a good game. The one thing, I think the Edmonton Elks a few years ago might have been pushovers in the CFL. I don't see that happening again this year. I think it's going to be a good matchup, and it's about time we get the season going.
Lions, as it stands now, a 5.5 point favorite, 1.40 on the money line.
Yeah, so this is really interesting. And really no surprise that the BC Lions would open as the favorite going into this game and minus 5.5. So for those who are new to sports betting, if you take the Lions minus 5.5, they do have to win the game by 6 points or more for them to cover the spread. And really interesting because it's similar. It's a similar line to what we saw in 2022, when Nathan Rourke burst onto the scene, his first year as the team's starting quarterback. I believe the Lions were favored in that game by 4.5 or 5 points. So it is really similar. The money line odds in 2022 were 1.50. So for this one, they are a little bit lower. I think the odds makers are projecting the Lions to win this game. I feel pretty confident about it. So the money line odds at 1.44, they did move a little bit this afternoon. But it's really interesting right now. The Lions are taking the lion's share of the money. We look at the money line odds of 1.44, like we said. 73% of the handle is actually on the BC Lions to win this game, and 72% of the bets are on the Lions. So right away, the bettors in the NBC are thinking that the Lions are going to win this game. And then you look at the points spread, minus 5.5. 79% of the bets that we've taken on the point spread right now are on the BC Lions to cover. The really interesting thing here is the money. 97% of money wagered on the point spread. 97% on the BC Lions minus 5.5. So that's an indication right there that we've taken a little bit of bigger money on the Lions to cover the spread. There's a lot of bettors out there that feel very confident that the Lions are going to win this game by 6 or more points. So really interesting to start the season. We'll see how those bet trends maybe change in the lead up to Saturday's game. But right now, in terms of the money line and the point spread, we're taking considerable amount of money on the BC Lions to win and to cover.
And Cam, when it comes to the team totals, I understand PlayNow has lines up for the first half team totals and the full game team totals. What can you tell us about those lines that are available?
Yeah, so the one that caught my eye right out of the gate was the BC Lions team total at the first half of 13.5 points. And the reason that caught my eye is my expectation for this game is the Lions are going to try to get out to a very fast start with this offense. So right there, they've actually covered the over 13.5 team total points in 2 of their last 3 season openers. And a couple of years ago against Calgary, they missed it by just 1 point. So I think that is 13.5 on the over is a really interesting number for bettors to maybe look at. Because my expectation for the Lions is they are going to want to get off to a good start. They're going to want to keep the energy in the crowd going throughout the evening. And I think that this offense, just coming into the season with the players that they have, there's a lot to prove. And with Nathan Rourke, we've talked about him now in a few segments where it's really his time to kind of regain that form that he showed us back in 2022 when he burst on the scene. He was having this ridiculous start to the season, and looking at the reports from the preseason finale against Edmonton, he looked very good, looked very in control of the game, and that's what you want to see right before they start playing for real. So I think over 13 and a half total points for the Lions in the first half is a really interesting bet. But then again, we come back to it. We said off the top that the Elks maybe in years past were maybe a little bit of a pushover in the West. And I don't think that's going to be the case. They were really aggressive in free agency this offseason. They really bolstered their defense. So I think that this is going to be a tough game, or a tougher game for the Lions than maybe they've experienced in years past. But I do believe that, especially on the offensive side of the ball, they're going to want to try to establish themselves and put some points on the board early, keep the energy up on the sidelines. Don't give Edmonton any real reason to hang around in this game. I think that they're going to be pretty aggressive right off the hop. And so that's why I do like the over 13 and a half BC Lions total points. And then for the game, it's right now it's between 26 and a half points for the BC Lions team total and 27 and a half points. So again, and that's one where the odds makers thinking that the Lions are going to put some points on the board in their home opener. And it should be an interesting game. I think offensively, if you were looking for a spark from the Lions offense, he definitely got it last week with the performance of Nathan Rourke going into the season opener.
All right, for those looking for some good parlays this Saturday, tell us about this big boost you got going on.
Yeah, so this was one, and again, this is kind of rolls off of what we just talked about with the Lions. So we are going to be looking to price up a parlay, a pre-built same game parlay. The BC Lions to win by 6 or more points. That's the first leg. The second leg is the BC Lions to score 14 or more points in the first half. And then the third leg of that parlay is Nathan Rourke 2+ touchdown passes. Yeah, so I think it's really interesting. Like we talked about the Lions minus 5.5 on the point spread. So I do think that they are going to win this game by 6 or more points, even though it's going to be a tougher contest. I still do like them in that range of winning the game by 6 or more points. And then looking at the first half team total, again, we talked about it. The Lions, they need to get off to a fast start, and I think that that's what they're going to do. And then Nathan Rourke 2+ touchdown passes. Looking what he was able to do against Edmonton and in his first season as a starter, he's a pretty electrifying player when he's at the top of his game. I expect that we're going to see a very good Nathan Rourke in the season opener, and so that's why I like 2+ touchdown passes for the BC Lions quarterback as well. We're going to package that bet all together. We're going to put a nice little boost on it ahead of kickoff on Saturday, so it should be a lot of fun.
All right, love that action. Okay, my friend, where can people find any other amazing lines for the CFL Week 1? It all gets going Thursday night, remember, with Saskatchewan and Ottawa.
Yeah, and we have our lines up now for the full slate of CFL games this weekend. So you go to PlayNow.com, check out the sportsbook, PlayNow.com/sports. The CFL markets right now are up on site. And for the odds boost, if you want to go check that out, we do have an odds boost section that's going to feature several CFL bets that we're going to give a nice little boost to, give our players a little bit of excitement and value going into the first week of the season.
All right, excellent stuff. We will see you at the game on Saturday, and we'll talk next week and every week on First and Now with Between the Lines. Let's go.
Boys, I can't wait. You know what I'm excited about too is the first game of the season. I'm going to be out in my backyard. I'm going to be barbecuing a nice little dinner, and we're going to keep that excitement going throughout the whole weekend. Should be a lot of fun, and we're going to cap it, of course, with the BC Lions on Saturday. I can't wait. It's about time. Let's go.
All right. We'll get a selfie with Snoop Dogg while we're at it. Talk next week, sir.
See you guys. Bye.